Adam Christ from MyMMAnews.com, and I am being joined by James LyonHeart Lyons. He is set to make his pro debut at CFFC 94 against Cody Zappone. It's going down on Thursday, April 1st. No, that is not an April Fool's joke. My man, following all the momentum as an amateur, is finally set to make his pro debut. James, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. First and foremost, thanks for having me over. Second, how are you?
Good. Training's going good. We're next week's fight week, and I'm ready to get in there.
So let's talk about training and your coaching. You've made the adjustment during the pandemic of COVID-19 to go into Philly. You're training at Daniel Gracie fight team and also Marquez MMA, right?
Yeah.
Also, you're doing some work with Jax and the Vault. All of this coming together in training, what has that done for your game to make your step into your pro career?
It's great. I got John and Daniel, really helping me every single day, watching my rounds, critiquing me and, making me the best possible fighter I can be. We got a ton of guys, a ton of pros, a lot of guys my size to work with. I don't have to, play around with people to get the right partners. I got a ton of 35, 45, and 55ers to work with. And, I got coaches that are very motivating and they push the team.
So let's talk about some of what you've learned while you've been there, right? I want to talk about what tools can you take into this fight, not only in this fight, but also in your game in the future. What has these gyms, plural, done for you?
Just being uncomfortable now. I'm in a new environment. I'm around new people constantly. There's always, good guys coming in, and it's cool always having guys, that are above me. I got guys that really push me, from wrestling to striking to jiu-jitsu, everywhere, every area, people that really make me better and, want to see me succeed.
And like you were talking about names and bodies and just the gym full of people. I mean, Paul Felder, Pat Sabatini, Sean Brady, all these people and just bodies, that's just three names on top of the people that you have constantly helping you evolve. What's that been like? Because it has to be something that pushes you and drives you not only mentally, but also physically.
Yeah, I can't express how much better I've gotten in these past 6 months. So many rounds I've put in, so many, hard training sessions. And, everyone's always down to help you. You ask a question, they help you. The coaches are always watching, seeing mistakes, helping you, fixing certain things, making certain adjustments for your opponent, and it's great. I couldn't ask for a better team.
So let's talk about the fight itself. Cody Zappone, him as an opponent, he's 0-1. You're making your pro debut. How do you feel about him as an opponent?
Yeah, he's 0-1, but a fight's a fight. He had an undefeated amateur career, boxing experience, jiu-jitsu experience. He's game. There's nowhere where Cody sucks at. He's not a bum at all. He's a great opponent, and I don't really get too lost in the record thing. That fight, say the fight went the other way. It's like, who knows?
And it was a split decision for what it's worth.
Yeah, so I'm not even really focused on that. Cody's, I'm sure, has improved a ton. Yeah. It was May 2019, and, he's a game fighter.
I want to talk about, speaking of 2019, man, that was the last time that you were able to get in the cage. That's something that you're not used to being off that long. 2018, you had 5 fights. 2019, you had 4 fights. 2020, everything is just falling apart, but now it's finally coming together. So I want to ask you, that time off and finally getting back, what was that time off like?
Time off was good. I needed a mental reset. I also need a physical reset, cutting that weight constantly, going in, having these fights. Some of them were short, some of them were in and out, but, the damage is in the camp, just constantly, beating on my body and just so many rounds, and not taking the break that I probably should have had, but also the other way you can look at it is it was a good experience for me. I have fought, 10 MMA fights in 26 months, for my amateur career. And to me, it was perfect, but I think the time off, in between amateur to pro was great.
Now, talking about this fight even further, if we look at it on paper, anybody would say it looks like jiu-jitsu against striker. But anybody, if you looked even further into that, you obviously have your stand-up background. He has, obviously, in his pro debut, he was rolling omoplatas. So it does look like that on paper, but what do you think? How do you think the bout will play once the bell rings?
I think Cody's game everywhere, and I think I am too. At a pro level, it's not, oh, you're a striker, you're only a grappler. At this point, everyone's game, pretty much everywhere. It's going to be the little things, I think it's going to be more the MMA variables, the little gloves, the ground and pound, the clinch up, those certain things that don't really exist in, the martial arts for themselves, like, jiu-jitsu or kickboxing. It's the other variables, the MMA variables.
Now, UFC Fight Pass, being seen on that is huge for you. Obviously, a ton of viewers are going to be watching that. Does that set nerves or is that excitement?
It's awesome. On my last few fights, had some big pressure too. The Cowboy, fight series, it was pretty big, Just seeing, Donald Cerrone, some other, big UFC guys there, but it's cool. I embrace it, and I'm looking forward to putting on a show.
What do you do to set yourself apart from anybody on that show? Because the card is stacked, but you're coming to make a name for yourself. You want to make a stamp on your pro debut. How do you take out Cody Zappone?
Exciting fashion. I think I will submit him, pretty, see how the fight goes. I think on the feet, it's going to be pretty competitive, and I think on the ground it's going to be competitive, but I think I finish it on the ground. I don't think Cody's a slouch anywhere. He's training hard, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. Pending
this win, obviously, because nobody comes into a fight to lose, but as I was talking to you earlier, you're extremely active. You're used to being active and on a very busy schedule as far as your fights go. Pending this win, what do you plan for 2021 and going further?
Another 3 fights. I want to put my foot on the gas and beat some ass. You know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to get the ball rolling and, have a good amount of fights this year.
So, what can fans come to expect when they see James LyonHeart Lyons step into the cage? Because, again, broader audience now, what can fans expect?
Always coming to finish and, putting on a show, it's entertainment, and I'm there to entertain and finish fights.
There he goes, James LyonHeart Lyons, set to make his pro debut April 1st at CFFC 94 at the 2300 Arena. It will be going down on a Thursday evening. Make sure you get your tickets. Make sure you get it on UFC Fight Pass. You don't want to miss this fight. For James Lyons, I'm Adam Chris. Make sure you keep it locked to mymmanews.com for all your fight news.